Postmodernism, it began after the Second World War, the way that modernism began after the First. And obviously, postmodernism grew out of modernism. It emphasizes irony and parody as a way to address the issues related to self and society. Remember these terms. We spoke about them earlier. Irony, when things don't turn out the way as expected, and parody, when we exaggerate qualities of a serious subject so that we can examine it more objectively. The main difference between modernism and postmodernism is the way they view the sense of alienation felt by people in the 20th century. You see, modernists wanted to use their art to bring unity, to feel closer to themselves and to society. Remember, they were questioning themselves after World War I, questioning whether humans can trust themselves. Postmodernists took a different view after World War II. They celebrated feelings of alienation, and they infused their works with those type of ideas. Isolation, each man on his own. The only person you could trust is yourself. You see, the world was changing again. After the First World War, we were nervous. We didn't think anything like that could happen. And then when it happened again the second time, postmodernists felt that there was no seemingly impossible thing. And perhaps the only confidence they could have is not in the world around them and not in any unity that was to be had, but in their own sense of self and digging deep into their own personas and exploring even the darkest places and finding a way to be strong and standing on one's own. Examples of this writing was Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov, On the Road by Jack Kerouac, Howl's dramatic monologue and epic catalog by Allen Ginsberg, The Naked Lunch by William Burroughs, and Thomas Pynchon published The Crying of Lot 49 and Gravity's Rainbow. Don DeLillo published Players and White Noise. And maybe you've heard of these books, Less Than Zero, An American Psycho, Very Broken Protagonists. Martin Amis published Time's Arrow and London Fields, and The End of the Road and Lost in the Funhouse was published by John Barth. Tim Robbins wrote Still Life with Woodpecker. Here's Nabokov and Kerouac, very influential writers in postmodernism. Their language was clear and defined, but they focused on the character, the protagonist, as self-hero, the only one to sustain yourself, the only perception that was valid, that isolation was not loneliness, but rather a type of freedom. Let's look at things from the perspective of the protagonist in Jack Kerouac's On the Road. Then there was Prez, a husky, handsome, blonde-like, a freckled boxer, meticulously wrapped inside his sharkskin plaid suit with the long drape and the collar falling back and the tie undone for exact sharpness and casualness, sweating and hitching up his horn and writhing into it, and a tone just like Lester Young himself. You see, man, Prez has the technical anxieties of a money-making musician. He's the only one who's well-dressed. See him grow worried when he blows a clinker? But the leader, that cool cat, tells him not to worry and just blow and blow. The mere sound and serious exuberance of the music is all he cares about. He's an artist. He's teaching young Prez the boxer. Now the others dig. The third sax was an alto, 18-year-old cool, contemplative young Charlie Parker-type Negro from high school, with a broad gash mouth, taller than the rest, grave. He raised his horn and blew into it quietly and thoughtfully and elicited bird-like phrases and architectural Miles Davis logics. These were the children of the great bop innovators. Do you see how Kerouac explores these characters? He sets them aside so specifically and so deliberately describes them to be on their own. All of this description around Prez in both this slide and here, the way that he says the serious exuberance of the music is all he cares about. The idea of isolation being freedom, that Prez's isolation as a musician from other people was his freedom. Very different from the modernist view that our togetherness is our freedom, our unity. You see how different this position is. We've come to the end of all of these periods specifically. We still have a couple more units in this lecture, but we are in the postmodernist period even now. It's very important for you to review all of the lectures and periods. I know there is a lot, and I know some of them have similarities, but they are very easily distinguished if you read and review the lectures again. You are responsible for reading the original works on your own. This will be a benefit to you, not just for the exam, but for yourself. And reading it for your pleasure will make it part of you and make you more confident to answering the questions. You can do this. Just study hard and be patient with yourself. Take the questions at the end of the unit to see how much you know right now.